The US dollar runs the global economy. It's the reserve currency of the world. Almost every major trade on the planet is priced in it. And yet, it's only the 10th most valuable currency on Earth. 10, not 1, not 2. 10. And the currencies sitting above it? Some of them come from countries most people couldn't point to on a map. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which currencies beat the dollar, why they're worth more, and the number one entry is going to completely change how you think about money and power. And before we get into the list, I need you to pay attention to number 3, because the reason that currency is so valuable is something almost nobody talks about. It's not what you think. 10 currencies, ranked. Let's go. We start at the bottom of our list with number 10. And yes, this is still the US dollar. $1, worth exactly $1. Now, before Americans feel too bad about this, the dollar being number 10 on this list has almost nothing to do with weakness. The US dollar is the most used currency on Earth, the most traded, the most held in reserve by foreign governments. Being the 10th most valuable by exchange rate and being the most powerful currency in the world are two completely different things. And that distinction matters, because the currencies above it, most of them are valuable for a very specific reason that has nothing to do with global power. Remember that as we go through this list. Coming in at number 9, the euro. €1 is worth around $1.13. The euro covers over 20 countries across Europe, making it the second most traded currency in the world after the dollar. But even with that scale, it still only squeaks into the top 10. Here's the interesting thing. The euro was designed to be competitive with the dollar. And yet, decades later, it still hasn't overtaken it in terms of exchange value. Moving on to number 8, the Swiss franc. 1 franc is worth around $1.23. Switzerland isn't in the European Union, which means they kept their own currency instead of switching to the euro. And it has paid off. The Swiss franc is considered one of the most stable currencies on the planet. When global financial crises hit and investors panic, they move money into Swiss francs. It's a safe haven currency, meaning its value holds even when everything else is collapsing around it. Next up, number 7 is where it starts getting interesting. The Cayman Islands dollar. 1 Cayman dollar is worth about $1.20. Now, most people have never even heard of this currency. The Cayman Islands is a tiny British territory in the Caribbean with a population of under 100,000 people. So why is their currency so valuable? Because the Cayman Islands is one of the world's most prominent offshore financial centers. Hedge funds, private equity, tax structures. Billions of dollars flow through this tiny island. And that financial activity is a huge reason their currency punches so far above their weight. Real quick, if you're learning something from this video, hit the subscribe button right now, because this channel drops facts like this every single week. And the next video is going to hit even harder than this one. Subscribe, then let's keep going. Which brings us to number 6, the Gibraltar pound. 1 Gibraltar pound is worth about $1.32. Gibraltar is a tiny British territory sitting at the southern tip of Spain, technically less than 7 square kilometers. You could walk across the whole thing in under an hour. Their currency is pegged directly to the British pound at a 1-to-1 rate, which means wherever the British pound goes, the Gibraltar pound follows exactly. Think of it as the British pound's quieter, lesser known twin. Same value, almost nobody knows it exists. And right next to it is number 5, the British pound itself. 1 pound is worth about $1.32. The British pound is one of the oldest currencies still in use anywhere on Earth. It has survived 2 world wars, the collapse of the British Empire, and Brexit. And it's still sitting above the dollar, Here's the wild part. Britain used to control an empire that covered about a quarter of the entire world's land surface. The pound was the dominant global reserve currency before the dollar took over after World War II. It got knocked off the top spot, but it never left the top 10. Okay, we've done the bottom 5. But here's what I need you to notice. Every currency so far has been from either a major Western economy or a tiny financial hub. The top 4 are completely different. They're all from one region of the world, and the reason why is going to change how you think about currency value entirely. Let's look at number 4, the Jordanian dinar. One Jordanian dinar is worth about $1.41. Jordan is a relatively small Middle Eastern country with no oil reserves, which makes this entry genuinely surprising. Most people assume the valuable Middle Eastern currencies come from oil wealth. Jordan doesn't have that. Their dinar is valuable largely because it's been pegged to the US dollar at a fixed rate since 1995. The Jordanian government has deliberately maintained that peg through strict monetary policy, keeping inflation low and the currency stable regardless of regional turbulence around them. Stability in an unstable region. That's the crown Jordan wears. Drop in the comments right now. Before I reveal the top 3, which currency on this list surprised you the most so far? I read every single comment. Let me know. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is literally the best time. Top 3 coming up. Now for number 3, and here's the one I told you to pay attention to at the start, the Omani Rial. One Omani Rial is worth about $2.60. Oman is a Gulf nation. Oil producing? Yes, but not the biggest oil producer in the region. Saudi Arabia and Kuwait both have larger oil revenues. So why is the Omani Rial so valuable? Because Oman made a deliberate, decades-long decision to maintain one of the most conservative monetary policies in the world. Their Rial is pegged to the dollar, tightly controlled, and they have never allowed inflation to spiral the way other nations have. It's not just oil, it's discipline. Long-term financial discipline that most countries never manage to hold. And that discipline? Worth $2.50 per single unit of currency. Getting close to the top with number 2, the Bahraini dinar. One Bahraini dinar is worth about $2.65. Bahrain is a tiny island nation in the Persian Gulf, one of the smallest countries in all of Asia. Population under 2 million. And yet one single Bahraini dinar buys you $2.65. Bahrain built its economy on oil in the early days, but they actually ran out of large oil reserves faster than their Gulf neighbors. So they pivoted aggressively into finance, banking, and tourism. Today, Bahrain is a major regional financial hub. Small country, smart pivot, one of the most valuable currencies on earth. And finally, number 1, the most valuable currency in the entire world, the Kuwaiti dinar. One single note buys you over $3 American, about $3.22. Kuwait is a small country, about the size of New Jersey, sitting on one of the largest oil reserves on the planet. Oil was discovered there in 1938, and that discovery completely transformed the nation within a generation. But here's what makes Kuwait different from other oil-rich nations. They didn't just spend the money, they saved it, invested it. Kuwait runs one of the most disciplined sovereign wealth funds in the world, and the government has maintained strict control over currency supply for decades. The result? The highest currency value on earth, by a significant margin. And here's the detail that really lands. Kuwait doesn't even need to be the biggest. They just needed to be the most disciplined. Now step back and look at the full picture. The top 4 most valuable currencies in the world are all from the Middle East or Gulf region. The bottom 6 include the currencies that run the actual global economy: the dollar, the euro, the pound. What that tells you is this: exchange rate value and global economic power are completely separate things. The dollar is everywhere. It moves everything. And it's still number 10 on this list. The most valuable currency isn't always the most powerful one. And the most powerful one isn't always the most valuable. That gap between value and power is where the most interesting financial stories in the world actually live. Let's run it back fast. Number 10, US dollar. Number 9, euro. Number 8, Swiss franc. Number 7, Cayman Islands dollar. Number 6, Gibraltar pound. Number 5, British pound. Number 4, Jordanian dinar. Number 3, Omani rial. Number 2, Bahraini dinar. And number 1, the Kuwaiti dinar. The most valuable currency on earth. So next time someone tells you the dollar runs everything, you can tell them it doesn't even make the top 9 when it comes to value. Money is more complicated than most people think. And that complexity is exactly what makes it worth understanding. If this video made you think differently about how money actually works, hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss the next one. Drop your country in the comments. I want to see where everyone watching is from. See you in the next one.